The Yankees sweep the Cardinals while the rest of the American League fails to keep up. The Phillies lose one of their aces and get an upsetting return from their other ace. And Chris Paddock faced his former team for the first time. We'll be getting to all of it on MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome to MLB Game Night, every game, every night. I'm your Sunday night host, Brian McCann, alongside my partner and Locked On Cardinals host, JD Haffern. JD, what's going on?
Buddy, me and you had a little series this weekend, and things kind of swung the New York way. But outside of that, it had been a fun weekend, especially all across baseball, which wrapped up tonight with that Little League Classic, which is always pretty cool.
Yeah, I did see the schedule come out for these. As you guys know, I am the new host for about a month now, and this is the first time me and JD are working together. And I did see when it was the weekend the Yankees and Cardinals are playing, I kind of felt like it was probably intentional out of our boss, Jeff. A little awkward there, but we'll get to it in a little bit. The Mets took on the Mariners in that Little League Classic like we talked about in Williamsport. A historic winning streak came to an end on a walk-off, but first the Dodgers made a big statement against the Padres in the NL West. I do want to mention today's show sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. So, JD, this Padres-Dodgers series, the Dodgers sweep the Padres. They get a 5-4 win on Sunday. First, let's hear from Harry Ruiz of Locked On Dodgers to hear what he had to say about this.
Fool anyone, the Dodgers have won a series against the Padres in 2025 for the third time in 3 tries. Now, it was with a sweep, so we have to call the maintenance crew over at Petco Park and ask them to take down that banner. That's how it felt that they were celebrating being divisional leaders for 48 hours? But the World Series champions, they've taken the lead back. They are back on top in the NL West. A huge week is coming up for LA. 4-game series against the Rockies in Colorado. They have to pad that divisional lead. And then you got the final 3 games of the year in the regular season between the Dodgers and the Padres. Travis Rogers and I are going to be talking everything about this weekend's sweep against the Padres on Locked On Dodgers, our episode on Monday. Listen to it wherever you get your podcasts or check us out on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe. 3, just like the times that we won against the Padres this weekend. How about that?
He's super salty about it, and I'm totally cool with it. I got to say, this was at one point a 9-game lead for the Dodgers, JD, and it got whittled down. The Padres took the lead back, and then to get embarrassed like this, your opinion before I get into what happened actually in this game, do you feel like the Dodgers were just playing with their food throughout the regular season, waiting for the playoffs to happen, and when the games get serious, they're here to play? Or are they actually kind of mid this year?
My thing is just with the amount of injuries that have happened to their not only their rotation, but the bullpen too. Like, it's shocking that they were still as good as they were. It just shows you how much star power is actually in that lineup, where they can lose Blake Snell, and they can, lose a Suzuki, and they can lose, any of these bullpen arms that they've lost. And so, it's been crazy over and over. Guys keep falling off, and yet they stayed the course. And eventually they were going to get into a lull where somebody might catch them. Padres got there, but they slammed the door on that real quick.
Yeah, so Mookie Betts homered in the 8th inning to break the tie off Suarez. They're one of their elite relievers that the Padres have, one of their 900 elite relievers that they have on that roster. Freddie Freeman had a 3-run homer in the first, along with the Pages home run there too. Tyler Glasnow gave him 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. That's the most modern day baseball line ever for a starting pitcher. 5 innings, 8 strikeouts. Yu Darvish gave the Padres 4 innings, 3 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Now, the Dodgers have a 2-game lead in the NL West. They'll play the Padres next weekend. The Padres are going to head home as they play the Giants for 4. Then they're going to welcome the Dodgers to Petco, as they said. And the Dodgers are going to go to Colorado for a practice series against the Rockies. So that should be pretty interesting, what it's going to look like starting over the weekend. Another massive series for these two. As we move along, Rangers and the Blue Jays. Texas wins this game 10-4, and Toronto won the series 2-3 as Texas salvaged not getting swept. Nathan Eovaldi gives them 7 innings of 5 hits, 2 earned, no walks, and 6 Ks. Jose Berrios goes 4 1/3, 6 earned, 10 hits, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. So Berrios obviously not a great performance in this game. Marcus Semien opened it up with a 2-run homer in the second. Corey Seager and Wyatt Langford added home runs in the 5th and 6th, and Vlad and Springer homered in this game, but it wasn't enough for the Blue Jays to be able to come back here. What's interesting is the Blue Jays have really built a safe lead in this American League East at this point. They're kind of just waiting things out at this point for the last month of the season. I don't know if anyone's going to really catch them. The upsetting thing here to me is Texas, JD, and I felt this way all year. If Texas could manage to get into the postseason, they're the team that no one wants to face. If you're facing Leiter and DeGrom and Evaldi, but they can't seem to put together any consistent amount of winning this year.
Yeah, it's been bizarre that the offense has been the problem. Normally, the Rangers are overflowing with production from the offensive side of things, and for separate reasons. Semien's fallen off, Adolis Garcia's fallen off, Seager dealing with injuries once again, which it seems like he does all the time. But that's been kind of the Achilles heel here, is that they haven't been able to score enough runs to support some of the great starting pitching that they've enjoyed so far this year.
In that beautiful new ballpark in Texas, one of the worst home run hitting ballparks, up along with Busch Stadium in St. Louis for you, where teams just don't hit the ball out of that ballpark this year. It's very weird how certain stadiums the ball's just not flying out of. The Blue Jays are going to head to Pittsburgh as they now have a 5-game lead on the division over the Red Sox. The Rangers are going to head to Kansas City. They're going to play the Royals. They're 5.5 back of that wild card. If the Rangers want to have a chance at the playoffs, they're going to have to start winning now. And this Royals series, who they're behind, is absolutely massive. On to the Mariners and Mets. This was the Little League Classic from Williamsport. Mets win this game 7-3. They take 2 out of 3 from the Mariners. Now, that's especially huge because taking 2 out of 3 in this series, the way the Mets were playing coming into this series, they had lost the division lead to Philadelphia. Philadelphia had grown the division lead a lot. They were almost out of a wild card spot. And the Mets were able to pick things up against a Mariners team that is not fun to play. It seems like offense is always the problem with the Mariners, and it kind of showed in this series too. Clay Holmes gives him 5 1/3, gives him 5 innings solid, actually. 5 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. The Mets starting pitchers give them absolutely no length throughout the entire season, really. They haven't given him length specifically here, but Clay Holmes, 5 innings is kind of the most you can ask for out of a Mets pitcher lately because they've been giving him 3 1/3, 4 1/3 lately. George Kirby is not what the Mariners wanted. 4 2/3, 12 hits, 7 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. The Mariners tend to try and win with starting pitching, and we know that, obviously, JD. But they tried to, the last 2 off seasons and deadlines, they have tried to really build up the ability to hit, the ability to score runs, and not be a slave to the starting pitching. And it seems like, again, this is the problem. The Mariners just cannot score when it matters the most.
Yeah, I mean, you pick up a Naylor, you pick up Suarez, and you would think pieces like that are the answers. I mean, when you pull off 2 corner corner infielders, and they're going to be meat of the order guys. We're not talking about 8, 9 hit hole hitter guys. These are good guys, and for a while there, I think they were rattled off like 8 in a row or whatever. But it's something you got to stay consistent with it, and when they don't get that starting pitching, and to see them not be able to get enough runs in a game like that, it's got to be frustrating for Seattle fans, I can imagine. And
Suarez has not been good since getting over there. One of the worst hitters in baseball, really, since the trade deadline, which is shocking. The Mets put up 3 in the second inning of this game. They got Alvarez, Beatty, and Vientos involved with hits. Vientos also homered later on in this game. And Cal Raleigh, what else is new? Homers like he does on every Sunday. The Mets' first series win since July 27th, which is insane. It was a 5-series losing streak they snapped. Their first series win in the month of August. The Mets are going to head to DC. They're going to play the Nationals. They have a 1.5 game lead over the Reds for that final wild card spot. So they need to win games. The Mariners are going to head to Philadelphia as they stay in the NL East. They're a 1.5 games behind the Astros in the AL West. And the Brewers at the Reds. Now, the Brewers enter this game on a 14-game winning streak, JD. They won the series 2 out of 3. Cincinnati won this game 3-2 on an absolutely insane win. Let's hear from Jeff Carr, Locked on Reds host here.
Amid everything that the Cincinnati Reds did wrong this weekend, they still managed to not get swept. It's good to see that they were able to band together, get the walk-off. Austin Hayes, honestly, he should have been absolutely insulted by the fact that the Brewers walked the bases loaded to get to him after TJ Friedl got to third from the bunt by Spencer Steer there in the bottom of the 10th inning. just felt like the 11th. Might as well have been the 30th. I mean, this has been such a long weekend for the Cincinnati Reds. But maybe this can be something where they turn things around. They continue to do this all year long, where as soon as you think you know who they are, they do the opposite. And it doesn't matter what that is. If it's something good, they'll do something bad. If it's something bad, they'll do something good. So just like the Ohio weather, maybe wait a minute and it'll change to something else, because that's what the Cincinnati Reds feel like right now. We've got a lot to talk about. Make sure you check us out on the next Locked On Reds podcast.
What an insane weekend for both of these teams. Wilson Contreras had a 2-run homer in the top of the ninth. That gave him a 2-1 lead. And then it all went back on the Reds. Jose Trevino had a game-tying single in the bottom half of the ninth. And then Austin Hayes, as he said, snapped a 14-game winning streak for the Milwaukee Brewers. They're going to head to Chicago to play the Cubs. That is a 4-game series with a doubleheader on Monday. They've got an 8-game lead on that series, which is so crazy. And again, the Reds, as we mentioned, they're going to head to LA to take on the Angels. They're a game and a half behind the Mets. I like that Reds team a lot. They just have to get more consistent, as Jeff said. On the other side, we're going to talk about the Yankees and the Cardinals, because I'm going to have fun with that, and I don't think JD will have as much fun as
I'm glad one of us is going to have fun with that. Jeez.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and the college football season isn't far behind. Whether you got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in on the game. And whoever you think's going to have a big year, Mahomes, Burrow, obviously, is always big choices. Josh Allen, what about Lamar Jackson? All these guys contenders. Prize Picks makes it simple to play. Just pick more than 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in up to 2,000 times your money. Now, I've used Prize Picks for a few seasons now, and I love how simple it is to use the app. Prize Picks also puts their members first, so all the withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. So, JT, full disclosure, I did see this schedule and realized that you were the Cardinals host, and realized, wow, this is weird that Jeff would pair us on the weekend the Yankees play the Cardinals. Someone had to win this series. It was only a 3-game set. And I will be honest, from my perspective as the host of Locked On Yankees, this was a absolute must sweep series for the Yankees. And that's no insult to you guys, but the Yankees have completely fallen apart. And we've been making this point on my show. They can't afford to win series anymore. The mantra when you start in April was, just get series victories. Take 2 out of 3. Take 3 out of 4. Now they need to sweep. They need to win every game imaginable. You can't. And I was so afraid going into Sunday you were going to get the punt lineup from the Yankees, where they were going to try and get the extra day of rest for guys. They didn't do that. Your team is very spunky, though. Stayed in these games, came back, took leads. It's just that bullpen, and you didn't get length out of your starting pitching in this series. Just this game, Will Warren, 4 2/3 for the Yanks, 6 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Miles Michaelis, who has got to be one of the most frustrating pitchers in the world, because years ago he looked like he's going to become an ace, and now he's just not. 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, 5 walks, 1 K. What are your opinions on Michaelis and overall the Cardinals right now? How do you feel?
This feels like the first nails in the coffin for the 2025 season. I'm usually a pretty upbeat guy about this stuff, and I'm like, because you got to take, like what the Yankees are doing right now, you got to take advantage of the bad teams that you're going to play. And as soon as the Cardinals lost 2 to the Rockies, and that just felt like that's the slide that would begin. Maybe they'd play well against the Yankees, which overall they didn't play that bad. But again, you mentioned all the issues that they got. They traded away 3 pieces from their bullpen, which was pretty good. Now they're kind of struggling with what's happening out there in the bullpen. Starting rotation has been an issue all season long. Michaelis, my opinion on him is that we cannot wait till the end of the season when he is no longer in a Cardinals uniform, just because he is that frustrating, because he's a guy who normally throws a lot of strikes and he gives up a lot of hits and a lot of loud contact. Today, he walks 5 guys out of nowhere. And it's just like, dude, let's just be done with this. Like, it has not been a good time for Miles Mikolas ever since he signed that extension after an all-star year. Had a couple good years, but it has not worked out very well, and he's just another one of those pitch-to-contact guys that just gets crushed more times than not.
Should be great in Mikolas. Keyword there, should. Cody Bellinger tied this game in the 7th. Then they got great at-bats from Giancarlo Stanton. He had a pinch hit walk. Bellinger hit a ground ball that they ruled it as an error. It really shouldn't have been, though. The ball was smoked and the infield was playing in. That broke things open in the 9th, and the Yankees were able to get this victory, which they absolutely needed. Yankees are going to head to Tampa. They're 5.5 behind Toronto for the division. They're a half game behind Boston in the AL East and the wild card. They're going to play a 2-game series against Tampa at their Yankees minor league facility in George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa Bay. So that is huge for the Yankees. They have a 3.5 game lead over Cleveland now in the wild card position too. So that is also big. The Cardinals are going to head to Miami to play a Marlins team that doesn't seem to lose to anybody, but also has a terrible record. So we'll see how that one goes, because the Marlins are an annoying team to play. To the Braves and the Guardians, Atlanta wins this game 5-4. They sweep Cleveland, which Cleveland could completely not afford. Here, let's hear from Locked On Guardians host Justin Latta on the situation.
Guardians had opportunities to beat the Braves in this series. They had opportunities again on Sunday to at least salvage the series with a win, but they couldn't do that either. Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians had a chance to score in the 2nd inning, did not. They had a chance in the 8th inning to come back ahead in the lead, and they were almost unable to take advantage of it. But really didn't matter. Honestly, the offense could have done their part and got a little bit more, but the pitching was not good on Sunday. Logan Allen was good early on. Things fell apart from him in the 5th inning. He lost control a little bit. He was nibbling, and then those long as bats came to bite him, and a couple of errors were made that allowed unearned runs. And the Guardians are a team that has to make 4 runs stand up. They have to pitch and make 4 runs stand up. They have to play defense and make those runs stand up. They came through in the 3rd and 4th with some innings, took a 4-1 lead. Nick Enright, unfortunately, gave a big home run, and they never recovered from that. But this whole weekend, the Guardians on Friday and Sunday both had opportunities to win these games, and the offense just couldn't come through on Friday. And then on Sunday, Stephen Kwan's butt in the 8th inning, not sure what happened there. With 2 on, took the bat out of your 2nd best hitter or 3rd best hitter's hands and cost you a chance to score a run that inning. In the 2nd inning, they couldn't come around either. He wasted a 4-hit day from Bo Naylor. Should have won that game. Should have won on Friday too. You had chances, and the pitching got worse as the weekend went on. Now the Guardians have to go to Arizona. Tough place to pitch, and they got to win some games and get back into this thing. Tune in to Locked On Guardians for all that and more.
Eric Fetty gives them 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The Guardians needed this series, and to get swept is just absolutely disheartening. They couldn't afford it at all. Atlanta won their 5th straight, which they haven't done all year. Really telling on Atlanta in this. Again, like we said, they needed this so badly. They're now 3.5 behind the Yankees. With the Yankees sweeping the Cardinals, the Guardians just could not afford to lose these games, and they wound up getting swept. Guardians are going to head to they're not playing the Mets. I got to fix that. Do you know who the Guardians are playing this weekend? If you can pull it up while
I can look it up for you real quick.
Yeah. Because the Guardians just are one of those teams that has to get on the winning track if they're going to have any hope of making the postseason. They've really getting swept by the Braves, especially the Braves team that just has not been able to be consistent all year. To allow them to sweep you through the weekend is just not okay if you're a Guardians fan.
Cleveland's heading to Arizona, by the way. Justin was.
Oh, yeah, he just said that, actually, yeah. So the Cleveland will head to Arizona to play in that series. Arizona, a team that's falling apart, but again, they just lost a series to the Rockies, but you have to be able to win those games. To the Phillies and the Nationals, Phillies wins this game 11-9. They split the series in 4. Let's go to Connor Thomas of Locked On Phillies.
Well, the Phillies win a shootout in the series finale down in Washington. There is a lot to unpack from this one. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. Let's start with Aaron Nola. His first start in months back off the injured list, and he did not look good. That is not a good sign and not what you wanted to see from Aaron Nola coming back. We'll see what we get out of him the rest of the way, but not very encouraged by that. You got to be encouraged by the offense, though. Phil scoring 11, and that's a really, really good sign. Nick Castellanos, couple of hits, including a bomb. You'll love to see that from him. Maybe it's a breakout performance for Nick Castellanos, and maybe it's something the Phillies offense needed. Final game of a 10-game road trip. I'm sure they're excited to get back to Citizens Bank Park, and maybe being back at home against the Mariners for the next 3 days, they create some more offense like they did today. But with a couple of rough games on the road trip offensively, she'll take 11 runs, no doubt. And a series split isn't what we wanted, but winning the finale gives you some momentum coming back home. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Yeah, so Aaron Nola coming back. Here's why Aaron Nola is so important to them. Zach Wheeler going on the injured list, and who knows how all the health in the world we wish him with the blood clot. But they need him back so badly with how well he's pitched, an NL Cy Young contender, and who knows when he comes back. There's no timetable on him, and that's a rough injury. They need Nola to be their ace, and I'm sorry, 2 1/3, 7 hits, 6 earned, not ace quality stuff. He was out due to a stress fracture in his ankle, but again, only 53 pitches. That is not what they could afford out of him. Mitchell Parker didn't give the Nationals what they needed either. An inning and 2/3, 4 hits, 5 earned, 3 Ks, no strikeouts. Not a pitcher's day in Washington at all. Schwarber singled in the second inning, gave him a 2-0 lead. It also gave him 100 RBIs on the year. He's a future Hall of Famer, and it is unbelievable what he's been able to do throughout his career. He is just a stud and hits absolute bombs out there. Castellanos again homered, and Harper had 2 RBIs in this game. The Phillies are going to head home. They're going to take on Seattle. They have a 5.5 game lead over the Mets in the NL East, and the Nationals are going to stay home to take on those same Mets that are coming into town. On the other side, we're going to get to the Orioles and the Astros because another pitching performance that just was not good in that one, plus all the rest of the games that happened on Sunday in the Major League slate. August 26th, it's officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for both the bold end predictions and for preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. You can bet the MVP. You can get your champions out of there in August, conference champions, division champion, Super Bowl champion. All of it's available. Or you can parlay your division winner dark horses. All that's available for you on FanDuel. All you have to do is visit the FanDuel app today and start planning for your futures bets now. Because the Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. So, JD, this Orioles-Astros game. Now, the Orioles beat the Astros and win the series 2 out of 3. They beat them 12-0 on Sunday behind some awful pitching. Let's hear from Brent from Locked On Astros.
Why should I be embarrassed? I mean, I'm not the Astros. Hey, I'm H.M. Wilhouse here with Locked On Astros. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this now with no hat because the hair I have, I'm pulling it out. It's very frustrating to watch this team. Like, what is going on? I mean, it's like I wake up one day, I turned 50, and I'm like, what happened to my hair? And then the next day I'm asking, where's this offense? To get blown out 2 different times by the Orioles, it's quite embarrassing. The Astros still will have a lead at the end of the day, whether the Mariners win or lose, because they're a game and a half up. But they got to get this bullpen, like, up to snuff. Sean Dubin has been terrible. 3 home runs in all 3 outings that he's had since coming back from injury. Christian Javier left early because they said he was sick. Jaron Pena was out a couple of days, was sick. We did get some good news about Yordan Alvarez coming back soon. But this team, I'm not saying they're in a free fall. I'm not panicking. But I don't like the results I'm seeing. Astros, please make it to where I'm going to be excited about wearing hats and doing nows once again, please, soon.
It sounds like Brent is sick of the Astros after Christian Javier leaves because he's sick in the 3rd inning. After the 3rd inning, you have 3 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 2 Ks. After he exited in the 3rd inning, this game went haywire, and Baltimore just went crazy with the bats. Something they failed to do really all year. Jordan Westberg, 5 RBIs behind a 3-run homer in the 5th. He had a single in the 7th and the 8th. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman had 2 RBIs in the day. Names that we really haven't been able to speak much on this year because the Orioles, JD, have just maybe the most surprising season when we look back on all of it is how bad they've been all year.
Yeah, I mean,
it feels that way, right?
These guys are just like, they just didn't live up to expectations, and a lot of these guys were hurt. Like Westberg's one of those guys that has missed a lot of the year and just hasn't been available. So it was a weird, because we thought they were going to be excelling. This was one of those seasons, and everybody was nervous about the starting rotation. All of us were all like, are you sure you guys did enough to supplement what you got offensively? But just nothing happened this year. So it's not a back to the drawing board type of situation by any means, but some of these guys like an Adley Rutschman, who's just had a horrible year for him. These guys all need to get it right when 2026 rolls around, because this was very disappointing for Baltimore.
And for the love of God, spend some money, please. With new ownership, figure it out. Houston's going to head to Detroit for 3 games. That should be fun. They hold a 1-game lead in the Central, and the Orioles are going to head in the West, actually, and the Orioles are going to head to Boston for that 2-game series that the AL East is playing. The Yankees are also getting that with Tampa. The Marlins at the Red Sox. Miami wins this game 5-3. Boston wins the series 2-1. Let's hear from Jeremiah of Locked On Marlins.
It was a comeback victory for the Marlins on Sunday to salvage the final game of this series against the Red Sox. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. Entering the top of the 9th, the Marlins were down 3-2. Dane Myers ties it with a homer, and then Jacob Marcy, one of the most electric players in Major League Baseball since his debut. He hits a 2-run blast to right field to give the Marlins the lead, 5-3, and that was the final score. Anthony Bender gets the save. The Marlins avoid getting swept. A really impressive 9th inning, couple of homers. Hopefully Dane Myers carries that momentum into the next series against the Cardinals, which is going to be back at home. The road trip is over, mercifully, and now it's time to see what the Marlins can do back at Lone Depot. Follow Locked On Marlins for more. Let's go fish.
Who in the world had the Red Sox losing to Garrett Crochet start in this series? It's so weird. He goes 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 8 Ks, and they still lose the game. The Red Sox went with their bullpen. This lineup out of the bullpen sounds awesome, JD. And listen to what they did. Garrett Whitlock, Weissart, and Steven Matz. Now, Matz not great, obviously. Got them from the Cardinals. And every single one of those guys gave up runs. Every single one of them. Just not the way the Red Sox drew it up at all. Jansen Junk went 7 innings, one of the best names in baseball, by the way. 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Really weird, really crazy. I think everyone in baseball is looking forward to that Red Sox-Yankees series next weekend because that will pretty much determine the AL wildcard for a huge portion of it. They're going to play 4 games in the Bronx, but first the Red Sox are going to welcome in the Orioles, like we just said. Their lead in the AL wildcard game is a half game over the Yankees. So it is going to be a super intriguing series, and the Marlins are going to stay home to take on your Cardinals. Quick thoughts on that series, because again, the Marlins they are a pesky bunch.
I mean, the Cardinals lost 2 to the Rockies. So, and they're it seems like they're free falling right now. So they haven't been a good road team for most of the season. So I wouldn't expect a whole lot from them in Miami, and they're down so many starters right now with Brendan Donovan's banged up. Wilson Contreras was out in this past series, and Arenado is still out. They lost Victor Scott in that second game. This is I want to say it's kind of like a 4A team. Like, people know, if they don't know what that means, it's not a AAA team, but it's not a major league team either. It's like a 4A team right now going down to Miami. But it's nice to get to see some of these young guys, kind of the way Miami's doing it with their guys, where you get to see some of the young guys get some attention and get some playing time. So hopefully they gain some of this much needed, getting a chance to be out there for the first time and stuff and get to start and stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to, but I wouldn't put my money on the Cardinals if I was you guys.
You heard it here first. Tigers at the Twins. Minnesota wins this game 8-1. Detroit wins the series, takes 3 out of 4. Now, the storyline here, Chris Paddock returns to face the Twins in Minnesota with the Tigers, and it was not a return that you're looking for. 5 2/3, 9 hits, 8 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. What happened? I mean, that's a nightmare to return to your former team and do that, JD.
Yeah, and he's actually hasn't pitched that bad since the trade happened. He's had like 2 really bad games, and this was one in front of your old people. Like, that's the one where you just want to go and hide.
Yeah, Thomas Hatch goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. The Twins had a 6-run third inning behind Byron Buxton, and Brooks Lee had a grand slam. The Twins are going to stay home, take on the A's. They'll be moving to Vegas soon, where I'll be next week. I'll be recording from, so you guys see me live from Las Vegas doing the show. And the Tigers are going to stay home to take on Houston for those 3 games. The Tigers have an 8.5 lead game over Cleveland in that division, so they're obviously going to win that division, and they're kind of like waiting it out for the last month of the season until the postseason's going to start, and they can line up all their roster the way they want to. White Sox at the Royals. Kansas City wins this game 6-2, and they sweep the White Sox. Davis Martin, 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned, 3 walks, 4 Ks. For KC, Ryan Bergert, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The White Sox took a 2-0 lead into the 7th inning, and then they brought their bullpen in, and obviously what happened is what happened. They scored 4 runs in the 8th. Jonathan India had a 2-run homer in the 7th. The White Sox are going to head to Atlanta for 3 games. The Royals are going to stay home for 4 against Texas Rangers, which is an absolutely huge series for the final wild card spot in the American League. They are now 4 games back of the Yankees for that final spot, so that series is massive. Diamondbacks at the Rockies. What an entertaining series between 2 teams that are going nowhere fast. Colorado 6-5 wins this game. Rockies take 3 out of 4. So the Diamondbacks, if you want to talk about free falling, JD, Chris Matt made his D-backs debut, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And Senditella goes 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So it looks like it's okay scoring-wise. Ryan Ritter, Mickey Moniak hit a 2-run singles in the 7th, and that was enough. Corbin Carroll and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. homered in this game as well. The Diamondbacks are going to stay home to take on the Guardians, and the Rockies will stay home for 4 games against the Dodgers. Pirates and the Cubs. Cubs win the game 4-3. Cubs win the series 2 out of 3. Cubs, really interesting stuff going forward because they play the Brewers for 4 games, Monday through Wednesday, a doubleheader on Monday. That's going to be unbelievably interesting, JD, just because the Brewers can sweep that series and the Cubs can sweep that series and get right back in the division if they want to. Dansby Swanson in this game had a tie-breaking sac fly in the 8th inning as the Cubs welcome in. Again, they got to play the Brewers. It's a crazy series. The Pirates are going to stay home for 3 games against the Blue Jays. And again, like we said, it's actually a 5-game series against the Brewers. They're going to play Monday through Thursday with a doubleheader on Monday. Unbelievable. So you can get down to 3 games potentially if the Cubs are able to sweep. So they kind of do control their own destiny in a little bit of a way. That should be unbelievably fun to watch. I don't know if the Cubs will be able to do it.
Good luck sweeping a team who just won 14 straight.
Hey, they're due to lose games. They are due. 2 games here left to go for you guys. Rays at the Giants. Giants win the game 7-1. The Rays win the series, though, 2 out of 3. Ryan Pepio, 4 earned, 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. And Logan Webb goes 7 innings of no run ball, 3 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Dom Smith had a bases-clearing 3-run single, and Drew Gilbert and Tyler Fitzgerald had solo home runs. Giants are going to head to San Diego for 4 games against the Padres before they go into that Dodgers series. And the Rays are going to head home. They're going to play the Yankees for that 2-game series. And the Angels at the Athletics. LA wins this game 11-5 in 10 innings. They scored 6 runs in the 10th inning to be able to blow this game out. Joe Adele had a 3-run homer in the 1st inning, and the Angels had a 6-run 10th, like I just mentioned. Adele had another single, and Zach Neto homered. The Angels are going to play the Reds as they come into town, and the A's will head to Minnesota to take on the Twins. JD, I appreciate this so much, and sorry what the Yankees did to your Cardinals. Not really, though.
It's all right. I wish you the best of luck when you guys move on and have to play the Red Sox. That's going to be a fun series to watch.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, and I'll see you guys next Sunday to talk about that. Thank you for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the episode. We hope you'll all come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.